Everton 1, Arsenal 0. And after having a brilliant first 19 games of the Premier League season to kick off Arsenal's last 19 games, it starts in defeat in horrible fashion at Goodison Park. I mean, what can I say? To be honest, despite Arsenal's brilliant form in the Premier League, I kind of did see this one coming, man. Everton, brand new manager. You know it's going to have a raucous crowd there. New manager bounce. Sean Dyche, who likes to play a defensive dogged style, and he got exactly what he wanted, and he'll be the happiest man on Merseyside picking up a 1-0 win against the league leaders. For Arsenal though, man, I mean, my days. I mean, we had the chance to extend our lead to the top back to 8 points, and we just did not take advantage. We were just not up for the fight today whatsoever. Everton outcompeted us in every facet of the game. Sean Dyche played a very defensive formation as I expected, and those three midfielders, Garner Gay, Doucouré, and of course Onana, just competed on every front against Ødegaard, Partey, and Xhaka, and won that battle with intensity. We could not match up to it whatsoever. And Everton deservedly got the 3 points. I don't think Arsenal played brilliant at all. As always, I mean, your thoughts on the match in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear it. And if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe. We're to 2,000 subscribers. I've come out on this channel a lot and said that I do believe Arsenal, hopefully, are going to win the Premier League title. We've shown enough that we are a solid team and we're up for the fight. But today, I mean, that's a big kick in the teeth for me. This was classic game that Arsenal would lose in previous years. Brand new manager, under the cosh. You know what I mean? Like, the crowd's bouncing. We can't compete and we'll lose. But we've shown this season that this Arsenal team is different to that. We can fight, and we can fight against adversity when teams are expected to try and beat us up. We can just bounce against that and play our beautiful football around them. But we didn't show that today whatsoever. We had spurts in the game, but to be honest, we didn't really create anything clear cut, and Everton had the better of the chances. And for me, deserved the 3 points. All ends up, man. And now, I mean, what can we say? We've now got to bounce back next week against Brentford. We won the first team's play this week. Man City, of course, travel to Tottenham next weekend, on Sunday to play, and we're just hoping for Tottenham to pull something out, because if Man City win that game, it becomes a 2-point gap at the top of the table, and trust me, despite Arsenal having a game in hand, 2 points can feel like nothing. But going back to Arsenal though, man, I mean, the whole team from back to front, just no one really had a decent game. I thought the centre-backs were alright, to be fair, but the rest of the team just did not compete whatsoever. I see a team that just looked a bit like a shadow of themselves. They looked disinterested, they looked a bit scared. Everton came to play football and also came to fight. And we looked like we didn't want any part of it. It's like those times we used to go to Stoke City back in the day and Burnley. We just could not fight them whatsoever. We were just there and we were scared in possession. Everton pressed us and we didn't have any answer for it whatsoever. Ødegaard, anonymous today. And I've said it before. The thing with Ødegaard, he's a brilliant player. And arguably he's one of the best players in the Premier League this season. But when there's a fight, when he has to compete, when he has to do the dogged work, I don't see it from him. Martinelli, again, poor today. Ever since we've been linked to a winger, whether it was Mudryk and now Trossard, the man's performances have dipped big time. I thought Partey was shocking today in that midfield, man. No assertiveness from that number 6. Jorginho comes on, and to be fair, it weren't much better, man. But that's the thing. When you don't have legs in that midfield, that's when you lose games. The midfield's so important. Like Everton, they played the players that gave them legs. And it just goes to show, because with this Everton side, right, I came and I said, although they're playing horribly, this is a good team. Like, I look at those players, it's a good crop of players. They've got decent squad in there. Problem is they had Frank Lampard, who was completely terrible manager, and the players just seem disinterested. Now Sean Dyche is going to apply them, and they look like they're decent. The problem is now, they can't play like that every week. They play against Arsenal, it's easy. You just got to sit back and defend. Like, your job is simple. It's one plan. When you play against teams when you're actually forced to attack and try and win the game in that aspect, then it becomes a bit different. Because in this game it was easy. He played basically 3 CDMs in there. Doucouré, Garner Gay, and of course Onana. Just play your 3 CDMs, Dwight McNeil and Alex Iwobi, who are basically workhorses, and that's it, and then play one striker, Calvert-Lewin. But when you have to play against teams lower down the table and you're forced to actually take the impetus and attack the game, I don't think he can play that style. But it fed perfectly into his hands today, man. Everyone was expecting Arsenal to get the 3 points, have the ascendancy, take over the game, and it fed right into Sean Dyche's hands, who just set up his team to defend, and they got a goal from a set piece. I mean, if he could script this game as to how he wanted, it would go exactly as it went today. Exactly. Defend doggedly, and then try and hit them on the counter-attack and maybe score a set piece. Word for word, bar for bar, it went exactly in that fashion. And Arteta, man, I mean, Everton's been our bogey ground for a few years now. I don't know if it's because he used to play for them, but this brother, he just never seems to perform well against Everton. Every time we play Everton, we don't seem to win. I don't get it, man. Like, I know last season, Demarai Gray scored a last-minute winner. What is it? Is it because he used to play for them that he just doesn't want to beat them or something? I don't get it, man. Like, why can we never perform against Everton and at Goodison Park, man? It's just terrible. Always seem to lose there, man. But at the end of the day, we're still top of the table right now. It's a game in hand. Technically, I guess, well, it's not because our game in hand against City still, but it's a game that we can afford to lose, and we did lose at the end of the day. The thing is now we have to bounce back, and we have to beat Brentford, and we have to beat Man City for me. That's just the way it goes, man. And at the end of the day, look, if you want to win this league title, these games you kind of have to win, to be honest. But we didn't. It's just all about how we fight back now. But yeah, a lot of Gunners fans, I can't lie to you. You'd be thinking, this maybe does prove that we're not quite at the mentality to win this title yet, maybe. Because I feel like in years gone by, the Liverpools, the Man Cities who are competing for the title and getting 95 plus points a season would win games like this. No matter how much Everton are fighting, no matter how much the crowd are involved, they'd find a way to win this match and nullify the crowd. But that's just how it is. I knew it was a dangerous game. No, I knew as soon as I watched those first 5-10 minutes when the crowd were involved in the game and Everton were fighting and scrapping and pressing us, I knew it was going to be a dangerous game. And we had to find a way to score. We didn't. And look, we have to just take our medicine now. In terms of match player ratings, Aaron Ramsdale in goal, to be fair, didn't really have an amazing game. He didn't really make any jaw-dropping saves, and to be fair, didn't really have to. But on the goal, don't think he could have done much. It was from close range. It went straight past him in a flash. I'm going to give Ramsdale a 5 out of 10. Ben White, I don't think played amazing. To be honest, I'm going to have to give him a 4. Saliba and Gabriel, actually, I thought the centre-backs were decent today. They were up for the fight. I'm going to give them both a 6.5 out of 10. Zinchenko, I don't think it was his great game. He tried to slot into midfield, and it was half working, but just wasn't quite getting on the end enough chances. And then when he was shooting, it was just always over and wide. I feel like Zinchenko had the most shots out of everyone in our squad today. But yeah, I'm going to give Zinchenko a 6 out of 10. Moving to midfield, Partey, 4 out of 10 for me. He was just not up for the fight whatsoever. Jorginho came on though, and this brother he has no legs. Like, the reason I said Everton won this game is because their intensity in midfield. They won that midfield battle. You can't bring on Jorginho and expect to win a midfield battle. The brother has no legs. You bring on Jorginho when you want to break down a low block. It is what it is, man. Jorginho, I'm going to have to give him a 5 out of 10. Next to him, Xhaka. Xhaka's been one of our unsung performers this season. Don't think he played great today at all, to be honest. I'm giving him a 5 out of 10. And Erdogan, I think 4 out of 10. By his standards, I want a lot more from that man. Saka, to be fair, I think out of all the attacking players, Saka tried the most. I think he was giving it the most. But he just looked a bit lost again today, man. Like, I don't know what it was. They doubled up on him and he just couldn't quite get anything going. I have to give Saka a 5 out of 10. Martinelli had a shocker, man. 3 out of 10 for me. I'm sorry, but this man, he's a bit of a one-trick pony. Head down and just run forward. Trossard came on. To be fair, Trossard gave us something different because he was cutting in and creating more chances from that aspect. But even Trossard's finishing was poor as well. I have to give Trossard a 5 out of 10. And then Nketiah, in the first half, he barely touched the ball. He had 1 or 2 good chances, but overall just didn't have a big enough impact in the game. I have to give Nketiah a 5 out of 10. And overall, look, Arsenal dropped 3 points. It's really disappointing. And it gives Man City all the impetus because if they win tomorrow, the gap becomes 2 points for the league leaders Arsenal, despite us having a game in hand. Overall, though, I'm not too worried about it. I mean, look, a loss, a draw, either way, it would have been drop points. We do end up losing the game. We just have to make sure we bounce back and beat Brentford next week in front of our home crowd at the Emirates and then do the job against Man City in midweek. If we do that, this loss will feel ancient. But if we go on to lose another game against Brentford and then drop points against City as well, then all of a sudden the title becomes in Man City's hands rather than Arsenal's. As always, let me know your thoughts on the match in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear it. If you're new around here and you love Arsenal match reactions, the place to be, make sure you subscribe. We're up to 2,000 subscribers. I've been Wifey and hope to see you all in my next video.